Many people believe a simple idea about taxes. They think that as someone gets richer, they pay a much larger share of their money to the government. This seems fair to most of us. It feels like the right way for a system to work. People with more resources should contribute more. Schools, roads, hospitals. This belief suggests billionaires must be paying the highest tax rates. It is a comforting thought. But the reality often feels very different. We read stories about wealthy individuals paying almost nothing in income tax for years. That news feels jarring and wrong. It creates unease. The first and most important step is to understand that the government sees money in two very different ways. The first way is income, salary or wages. This is the money you receive in your paycheck for the job you do. When you earn a salary, taxes are typically taken out before the money even reaches your bank account. The rules for taxing this kind of income are quite direct and hard to avoid. For the vast majority of people, this is the only kind of income they ever really deal with. The second type of money is capital, or wealth. This is not money from a job, but money that comes from owning things that increase in value. These things are called assets. Shares of stock in a company. Real estate properties, ownership of a private business. When the value of these assets goes up, it is called a capital gain. The tax rate on these capital gains is much lower than the tax rate on a salary. This creates a fundamental imbalance from the very beginning. Two separate systems. One is for people who work for their money. The other is for people whose money works for them. If a billionaire makes $1 million because his stock portfolio increased, he will pay a much lower tax rate, and only if he sells. The tax on a capital gain is not owed until the asset is sold. This gives the owner control over when and if they ever pay the tax. This leads to the biggest loophole of all: unrealized gains. Imagine a billionaire who owns a company. Her shares were worth $1 billion last year. They are worth $2 billion this year. She has become $1 billion richer. Her wealth has doubled, but because she has not sold any shares, she has not realized the gain. That $1 billion increase is not considered taxable income. She does not have to pay any tax on it. As long as she never sells, that growth can remain completely untaxed, year after year. So, if a billionaire's wealth grows by $1 billion, but they do not want to sell their assets and pay capital gains tax, how do they pay for their lifestyle? How do they buy houses, yachts, art? The answer is a simple but powerful financial tool: borrowing. The ultra-wealthy can go to a bank and take out massive loans. The bank is more than happy to do this because the loan is secured by billions of dollars in assets. This strategy is sometimes called buy, borrow, die. Let's follow a short story to see how this works. Imagine a billionaire named Anna. Her tech company's stock is worth $5 billion. She wants $50 million for a new home living expenses. Instead of selling $50 million worth of her stock and paying millions in capital gains tax, she goes to a bank. The bank gives her a loan for $50 million at a very low interest rate. To the tax authorities, this $50 million loan is not income. It is debt. Therefore, it is not taxed at all. Anna gets the cash she needs to live lavishly without generating a single dollar of taxable income from the transaction. This strategy can be continued for a person's entire life. Whenever they need more money, they can simply borrow more against their ever-growing pile of assets. The interest on the loans is often a tiny fraction of the rate at which their wealth is growing. For instance, their wealth might grow by 10% in a year, while the interest on their loan is only 2%. They are still getting richer even while they are borrowing. The result of these perfectly legal strategies is a reality that is deeply unsettling. Recent analysis has shown that some of the wealthiest people in the world have, in some years, paid a true tax rate of only a tiny fraction of 1% of their growing wealth. At the same time, an average American family earning a salary often pays 15% or more of their income in federal taxes. This is not an accident or an error in the system. It is the system working exactly as it was designed, with rules that favor wealth over work. This creates a profound and growing gap in our society. This is not just an issue of abstract fairness. It has very real consequences for everyone. When a significant portion of the wealth at the top goes untaxed, the government has less revenue to fund essential public services. Maintaining good schools, investing in medical research, repairing bridges and roads, supporting national security. To make up for this shortfall, the tax burden inevitably shifts downward. Middle-class families may end up paying more, the country may have to cut services. The good news is that this is not an unsolvable problem. Experts have proposed many clear, straightforward fixes. One of the most discussed ideas is to tax extreme wealth itself, not just income. Another is to treat capital gains the same way we treat salary income, so that a dollar is taxed as a dollar, no matter how it was earned. Closing the loophole that allows billionaires to live off untaxed loans is another critical step. Simpler rules, clearer rules, harder to avoid ensure that everyone, regardless of their level of wealth, contributes their fair share. Ultimately, the myth that the rich pay the most in taxes crumbles under the weight of the facts. The truth is that our tax system has evolved to contain two different sets of rules. One for wage earners, another for the supremely wealthy. The rules for the wealthy allow them to legally pay far less. This is not a partisan issue or a matter of jealousy. It is a fundamental question of the integrity and fairness of our society. The first and most important step is simply to see the system for what it is. We should all notice this truth, and we should all care about making it right.